So let me pick up on the class exercise number 8, part B. This is part 2 of task B, okay? So this is where we left off. Is basically, I'm not finished with the HTML part yet, all right? So inside of this, I'm going to create, it's just basically, it's a button right now. Every time when I click on the button called London, it's going to actually pull this particular function, which is an event. It's going to actually load the London section of the ID. It's coming up here, and so on for Paris and Tokyo with it. So inside of this, here's what I would like for you to do. So in here, since we're doing this on one page with it, so let's do the div, and I'm going to close this div tag right now off of it, and I'm just going to do one of them just to show you, and then we're going to copy and paste all that. We're going to do an ID. Now, if you remember from CSS, ID was what? It's very unique. It happens one time. We're going to use it just only for one time only, and the ID is called London. All right, is the name of the ID. Inside of that, we also going to do the class. That class is going to be called tab content. All right, so there's an ID and a class, all right, with it, and between it I want to actually have an H3 tag. That H3 tag is going to be called London, is the content of that with it, and I'm going to put a paragraph tag with this as well. So I'm just going to do one of these, and then I'm going to copy paste this in a second here. So I'm going to call this London. Is the capital of England, right? Sounds right. Is the capital of England. Okay. So capital city of England. Let's complete that. All right. So let's do that. Let me tighten up the code with it. Let me zoom in, make sure if you need to actually pause the video at this time. We're just going to do one of these things. Make sure, again, we haven't written any of this in the CSS yet. So keep in mind you have an ID called London. You have a class called tab content. Remember how these things are different with it. ID only is unique only one time. And class, there's multiple classes in a page with it. IDs, you use it with signify with is the pound sign, and the class is the dot. All right, the dot notation. All right, so make sure you have what I have right now. If you like, pause the video before you move forward. And I'm just going to highlight this particular part with it. Just copy it because this is all the content. I'm going to highlight it, make sure it looks like this. Control C, come down. I want to paste it once and second time. And I'm just going to go in and edit this. The second city is Paris, right? So I'm going to call this thing Paris. And this part right here will be changed to Paris. And changing out Paris, I would say Paris is the capital city of France. All right, this becomes Tokyo, and this becomes Tokyo, and this becomes Tokyo. Tokyo is the capital city of Japan. Okay, so this is pretty much what the HTML part of the code will look like. Again, this is just a current, nothing is in functioning part to this. This is the first part, is the HTML part that we're going to talk about. So make sure, if you want to pause your video right now, make sure you have what I currently have right now with it. All right. So make sure you have make sure there's no syntax errors. This is what we currently put in right now with it. Let me zoom out a little bit, and this is what you currently have. That's what you currently have right now with it as well. So I'm going to move on to the next part. All right. which is the the second part we're going to look at. Is the I'm going to talk to you about is the CSS. We're going to add in the second step is the CSS part. All right, and the CSS part, it styles the button and the tab of the content with it. That's all this is. This is the button right here. This is, you know, the layout and the presentation for this with it. So take a look at this. I want you to see where we're going to put the embedded, the inline CSS that goes inside of this. All right. So if you could for me, come up to your head section, and in your head section, all right, or in your maybe we could change that. Yeah, we could do the style. Let's see. Yeah, let's look at your style in here with it right here, right there. All right, and we're gonna do underneath it. We're gonna call head. I'm sorry, style. What am I talking about? Style. And in your style, this is where all your internal CSS is you're gonna create in here with it. I was thinking about doing external, but let's just keep it simple and do everything in here with it as well. So the first thing we're going to do is the body. The body attribute with it. And in the body attribute for this, very simple, we're going to do font family, which is this. And I always like to use Arial. Alright, so it's up to you how you want to use it, but Arial is pretty clean way of using with this. Well, the second one we're going to come down here. Let me document this as we're talking about. Remember how we document in CSS? I put a / and an asterisk, and then we close it off with what? Another asterisk and a /. So I'm going to style the tab right now with it. Alright, so here's what happens when we actually put in a class tab. You start with the dot syntax and it's tab with it, and you open up the left and right curly brackets inside of that. So what happens when you're going to use the attribute overflow is hidden. Alright, and the second one, oops, come over to the right of that. The second properties I want to give you is the border. And I want you to set it as border 1 pixel solid, and let's give it a color of CCC. So the CCC color is the tab color that we're going to give it, and it's kind of like a dark color, and it's contrasting with a gray color with a background with it. All right, of course the background color is a little darker color with it, so this is a gray color and it goes on top of the dark color. So background color that I'm going to use here, I'm going to use this as the F1. So this gives you a little bit more a gray color with blends in with a solid with a border that's kind of like a little darker color with it. It's darker gray, and this one is a gray color with it. All right, so that's the tab that we currently have right now. In that tab, we have the text London, Paris, and Tokyo inside of that. Can you envision that? All right. So here's what the buttons will look like right now. All right. Second one we're going to do is the class called tab. Then you can add in. And this is a different tab because this is going to be the tab called button in here. And this button tab we're going to actually use is the background color. And in the background color, I'm going to use the word inherit. Now, those of you who don't know, the inherit means that I'm gonna whatever the button that I have before, which is my parent button, I'm gonna inherit that color. The background color will come in here as well. So it will inherit what? Here's the button. It's gonna inherit from the tab. So the background color is gonna inherit from this gray color. So I'm gonna match both of the buttons from this background color of the tab, it's going to inherit down to the button on here. So it becomes like a mask. It looks like it's the same color. That's what that inherit does allow you with it as well. I could put pound F1, 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 F1. It will do the same thing, but I just want to show you that button here is inheriting from the tab. That's what that is. Now, the next one is the float. If you want to float left, make sure it's basically aligned to the left. Come to the right of that. The second one I want you to put in is if you can do border. And do the border with this one. We don't want any border with this, so it's going to blend in with the background as well. The outline, of course, is none. Same thing. So basically, it looks very plain wafer right now with it. And the cursor that we're going to actually use is a pointer. And what do I do? Outline, cursor, padding. And the padding, we're going to use 14 pixel by 16 pixel. Okay. And the transition, I want to use this 0.3 second. So when you click on it, there's a transition in a different color, like when you're hovering over it with it, which is just very, very quick type of transition. And we're going to use the font size. This is the font size. I'm going to use a font size of 17 pixel. So that's what we are going to use at this time for this right here with it. So we got the style, we got the style, the button coming off of the tab, 2 classes with it. I'm going to use another one right now. Okay, let me pause the video. I'm going over 12 minutes right now. So this is the end of part 2 of class exercise 8, part B, or task B. This is the second part, end of the second part. Okay.